I feel like this is one of those things where you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You tend to lean more into giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Everybody is like, has beautiful intentions. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to Inner Archeology. I'm Emily.
And I'm Sarah. And we're so excited you're here.
And you can listen to us a bunch of places. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on patreon.com/innerarcheology, where you can hear some juicy exclusive episodes. Also innerarcheology.com and innerarcheology.tv. You can watch videos of our cute faces. Yeah.
Let's dig in because I'm really excited about this. Because this is a struggle and I don't know if you ever get it right.
Yeah. So let's just start off by saying there's no
Let's
winning.
just say you're never going to win. No, I'm just kidding. But today we want to talk about giving people the benefit of the doubt, which is hard. It's hard. It's easier with people you don't know sometimes. Well, it depends. I think some people are a little more paranoid than others. I try not to be paranoid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a much kinder way of saying it. If you've had lots of people harm you in your life, makes sense. Not just paranoia.
Yes.
I'm like, some people are paranoid, some people are not.
Those crazies.
Yeah. No, but giving people the benefit of the doubt is a practice in my mind. And it's really, for me, it's something that is rooted in a choice of like how you want to feel moving through the world.
How you want to perceive the world. Like,
right.
Because
if you choose to give people the benefit of the doubt more often than not, I think you create a lens, a filter, right? Through which you like perceive things, and you start to have experiences, at least in my experience. And also I bet this depends on like where you live, the people you're kind of surrounded by, probably. But you start to have experiences that are kind of like magical. But I've also had periods in my life where I did not give people the benefit of the doubt. And then it's like you have this like lens of like, I don't know, you kind of just find the things that validate your beliefs one way or the other, really. Which is like
if you
what
believe
your brain
people
literally does.
Yeah. Yes. This is so good. The question at the core of this is, do I believe people are intending me harm? You know, and this is something I know both you and I have grappled with. And when that belief is there for a good reason, like the default is everybody's intending me harm, because you're like, fucking like instinctual brain is trying to stay alive. It's constantly like trying to like evaluate if there's any threats, and it's just trying to keep you alive. You're just like an animal trying to stay alive. So you're always on the lookout for something that's going to harm you. But today, since we're not like surrounded by saber-toothed tigers, and it might be like your boss or somebody like yelling at you, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm being harmed, and it triggers this whole fight or flight thing. That was a roundabout way of just trying to say that is kind of like the default, and you have to consciously look at, is this belief like benefiting my life? Because I know when I was living as if everybody was intending me harm. So I interpreted things that were happening through that lens of like, this came from like a bad place, a malicious place. I have to protect myself. And I was manufacturing and creating so much pain for myself that was completely unnecessary. I was creating suffering that didn't even exist. It was a fantasy in my mind.
Right. Right. Well, because take a very simple scenario. A friend of yours cancels on you. You're supposed to like go have dinner or something like that, and they cancel with like almost very little explanation, right? And like through both those lenses, you can have two interpretations. Like, oh shit, something's going on in their world. I hope everything's okay. Or maybe they're not feeling up for it. Or you can be like, this person doesn't like me. This person, you know what I mean? And obviously it's going to be like with a friend, you probably have some context. So it's like not as simple as that. But it still is something that, because before I was aware that the default is like kind of a sense of thinking that people do mean you harm, because that's how I moved through the world, thinking that people, I didn't give people the benefit of the doubt. I was super paranoid. Also, because white lies are kind of okay in my family. I actually like often thought people were lying about things, which I had to realize came from that rather than like the person like telling me whatever they were telling me. So like, because in my family growing up, I do not do this anymore, by the way. I am like hardcore, like I even like say, I'm like, why do we do this? Because it doesn't, it usually comes from a place of like, I mean, like what a white lie is, right? Like wanting to like save someone else the pain or like soften. So like, I can't come out tonight. I don't know, my car broke down, which like didn't happen. And so like, if it got to the point where like, you know, in my 20s, when people would be like, I can't come tonight, my car broke down, I was like, bullshit. Like I just didn't believe anyone because of like the white lies in my family. And so I was literally moving through the world assuming that everyone was like telling me white lies all the time, rather than like the truth. But it was like totally because it's like they are okay in my family and how I was raised.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is like a really insightful connection.
It still happens. It still happens. Like it comes up. Somebody will be like, I can't come to this thing because I got COVID. And in my mind, I'm like, you got COVID. And then I'm like, Sarah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, easy. Like, and I have to actively remind myself to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, default is 100%, I think, for most people, to not give people the benefit of the doubt. And if it is for you, fuck yeah, you're amazing. What's that like?
Right. Because the truth is most of us have experienced somebody intentionally harming us. Like most of us, even if that you could explain that they have their own trauma or they have their whatever, but like most of us have experienced that, you know, and some to degrees that are like astronomical. And so this concept becomes layers deeper because then you're addressing trauma, you're addressing like that you were actually harmed. But what this has to do is so much more about the quality of like your life rather than what other people are doing or not doing, you know?
And that's like really where I wanted to take this conversation today, is like the benefit of working to give people the benefit of the doubt actually improves your life so much more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because going through life, doing that and practicing that, it brings so much more ease and calmness and peace. And just like, I don't know, it just like lowers your sense of fear and paranoia. And like, look, like you're still like, something's going to, I think sometimes people like might even be resistant to this idea because they feel more on guard and protected when they don't do this. But what they end up missing is these like little beautiful moments where, I don't know, like people are like awesome, but you miss out on that when you're like walking around like super guarded all the time.
And you also miss, I think when you are believing that people do not intend you harm, it makes room for people, I think, to be really vulnerable and honest with you. Like that's what I've experienced, is like creating this air, even if it's something that they're like hesitant to share because they're afraid it's going to hurt my feelings. And I'm kind of just like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. And then it turns into this really vulnerable, beautiful share. But there's a distinction to be made between like giving somebody the benefit of the doubt and letting somebody like abuse you, like, or letting somebody there's distinctions there. Like, but this is,
I think giving people the benefit of the doubt happens like in the very first interaction. You know what I mean? Not interaction like with that person ever. First interaction. It's like the beginning of a situation. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I feel like, because whenever you're giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, it's like there's something being initiated and you have a choice because you don't it's acknowledging that you don't have all the information, right? You know, because you don't. So, but I feel like giving people the benefit of the doubt is like specific to the scenario in which you're like yeah, it's like meeting up for dinner and they like suddenly can't come, but they didn't fully explain why. Or meeting someone for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Abuse like comes when you like have an active and ongoing
And it's
relationship.
over and over and repeating the same
and
patterns.
over and over. And it's
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like, I don't know, there's sometimes actually where Ben's like, I wish you would give me a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. When he does something, that I'll be like, why did you do it that way? And he'll be like, and he's actually like literally looked at me before and he's like, don't you feel like when I explain my thought process, you're always like, oh, that was smart? I'm
You're
like,
on
yeah.
board. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, so maybe when I do something that seems weird, you could just
so
like
good.
give me the benefit of the doubt and
Yeah.
remind yourself that you usually think my thought processes and how I come to conclusions are sound.
Yeah.
He's actually said this to me many
so
times.
Good. He's so good at like breaking it down. Like, I love that.
And being like, listen, crazy lady. And so like it can happen in like relationship, but when somebody does something like feels out of character, you know.
Yeah, I do, because like
they're stupid. Like,
I feel like there's like two sides of the coin, right? There's like one side where you're super guarded and paranoid, everybody's intending you harm and you feel miserable. And then there's the other side of the coin where it's like you don't have any boundaries. There is no like it's like almost
you're naive,
using the benefit of the
like
doubt.
Yes,
because I feel like I've done this and I've used the giving the benefit of the doubt to somebody to like allow them to just continue to mistreat me or whatever, and not like stick up for myself or like have boundaries or whatever. And
I feel like this is one of those things where you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like
this is probably
you tend to lean
things.
more into giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Everybody is like has a beautiful intentions. Yeah.
Yeah, that must be nice. And I am like, oh yeah, you have COVID, you fucking liar. Like what?
Yeah. And now it isn't always true because there definitely are times that I've experienced like
I know, I'm creating extremes for the fun of it.
But I do feel like it does like mirror our
who we are,
duality. Yeah. Like a good example that comes to mind is I have a dear friend of mine. And I remember early on in our friendship when I was like really wanting to get to know her and hang out with her, there was lots of cancellations. Like we were talking, this is like a really easy example. And I remember I felt like I was starting to get really frustrated and I started feeling like she actually didn't like care about me and she didn't like value our friendship like I valued our friendship, and I started filling in all these blanks. And I remember I had like a moment of awareness about what I was doing. And I was just like, if I continue down this path, I'm not going to have a friendship with this person because I've created this story that a friendship won't be able to survive in. And so I was like, do I want that? Or do I want to just be like, yeah, this person maybe can be kind of flaky and hard to nail down and that's fine. They can just be like that and still have this person in my life. And that's what I chose. And I just like accepted that person for how they were. And we've got this friendship that's like sustained over all these years. But that was very much me adjusting my beliefs, my expectations, and giving her the benefit of the doubt that this is just how she is. It's not malicious.
Like, I have a question. Is she still like that, or was it just in the beginning?
No, still.
Okay.
Yeah, consistent.
Well, because I was gonna say I have a hard time with people in the beginning because the friendship's not there yet. You know what I mean?
And the trust. Well,
the trust and the friendship. And so for me, sometimes like with a new friend, having and being in the right energy to like spend time with them is like more of an effort
in a different way.
Yeah. It's like a different feeling. I'm not as relaxed. I'm not. So I was just curious if it was like,
it's a good, and when you say it like that, when you say it like that, I would say, yes, it has changed and it is like more consistent. Yeah.
Like, because there's like a level of trust and comfort that's been built. I am so like that. Like, I don't, especially like, I don't know, with like online dating, when I would do that, like the person isn't real to me until we've like met face to face. And so I kind of am like, I'm not like rude, but I'm also just like, you're not a priority. I don't fucking know you. You're some like stranger on the internet. Like, you're not even like a real human in my mind until we've like actually met face to face. And so I don't know. I've tried to explain this to people because I'm like, I don't think people are being flaky, especially like at that point and like getting to know someone. It's just like you're not a priority
committed to anything.
Because
Yeah.
it's like you don't, but because you just like don't know that person. Actually, it's something I was talking about with one of my people because we do like calls now, and they were like, this person, it's hard to like get on the phone to sign up for the course. She's very excited, but she's like, and I feel like she's kind of like maybe blowing me off or just like not respectful of my time, maybe something like that. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. It's just like, it's still like a new relationship. And like at the beginning, you know, and also she's like a big commitment. Like she's probably scared, a little nervous, but also like probably trying to juggle life. Like the people who come into working with us are like usually trying to navigate getting out of a career that like gives them very little freedom. And sometimes it's just like, you have to just remember they got like, people got a lot going on. It almost like really doesn't have anything to do with you personally. Like it really doesn't.
Seriously. Like I had this moment recently where I was like going through something extremely painful and hard in my like personal life. And I was like just out at the grocery store, like my insides were like broken into a million pieces and I was like barely holding it together. And I was just, and I had this like moment, this kind of like outer body little like experience of just being like, all these people that are passing me by have no fucking clue that like my life just fell apart, you know, and that like I'm in more pain than I've ever been in my entire life. And it gave me this like perspective almost of just like, that could literally be any one of these people too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
it
there's a literally word for be this. All of them. Yeah.
I got to ask Ben because I said this to Ben.
There's a term for this?
There is a term for this. Oh. I'm literally going to,
text Ben.
The term, I'm doing it live, guys. What's the term for when you realize everyone has a complex life like yours? Okay.
It's like the whole like iceberg analogy situation.
Because this is something that I've always thought about like my whole life. It's kind of like, I don't know, I have these like weird thought experiments that I do. You know some of them. Some like I love to imagine that like everything I own is gone and like what would I do and would I be okay? And I'm like, yes, I would be okay. I like literally like release like things I'm like sentimentally attached to. It's a weird thing. I like imagine my whole house burning down. Another one is
it's a wild one.
I don't know why it makes me feel safer.
Like a wild Tuesday afternoon. Yeah.
I just like sit on my couch and it makes me feel safer knowing that like I will be okay if like everything that I own is gone. It's okay.
I feel like I remember doing that, but it was more when I was a child. I would do that. I don't think I do that now. I like that.
Or the one, what was the one we were just talking about? We were just talking about one on the last episode where another thought experiment that I do is I lost it. It's not so nice.
I remember. Anyway,
we were just talking about it.
I know. I remember, like, we were talking about it. I can't remember what it was.
Anyway, the other thought experiment that I do all the time is, like, when I'm walking down a busy street, is I, like, literally try to take people in and, like, think about the complexity of their life.
Of the story that's behind it.
That they have lived through and overcome. And every single time.
I do this one, too.
It makes me super emotional. Like, because I just start, like, I start, like, loving everyone. I'm just like, oh, my God, I fucking know that you have lived through some hard shit. Yeah. And anyway, I was telling Ben this the other day, and he goes, I can't remember what the word is, but I think it's, like, I want to say it's German. But he was like, oh, Stegenfreud. And I was like, what? And he was like, there's a word for that. And I was like, oh, there's a word for this? And he was like, yeah, it's a thing. And he just, like, knew the word for it. Yeah. I don't know what the word is, but he's going to text it to me. Hopefully by the end of this. But it's a word. There's an actual word for like suddenly having a moment of awareness of the complexity of every single person's life and how it is just as complex as yours.
Yes. And that's such an important, I think, element to this whole idea of giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's just recognizing their humanity and recognizing that, like, they could be like going through like so much that you're just not even aware of. And chances are it's not malicious. Like statistically, chances are that it's not causing you harm. It's just truly like an issue, you know, like whatever popped up and they couldn't make it, you know. I feel like
Go
another
ahead.
element to this, let's see. Oh no, I think I lost the thought.
Oh
I'm having a
no.
brain fart. Oh,
Brain
shoot.
fart.
Yeah. I'm just blank. It's just blank.
Just totally blank.
It's going to come back. It's a bad one.
Wow. It never happens. It's usually just so
Nope,
much.
I'm stupid now.
I'm not helping. And I'm not helping, right? I'm not helping you at all. I'm just going, wow.
No.
That's a big brain fart.
Because you were
you
okay,
idiot.
let me retrace my look at how dumb you are.
I was like not even
Retrace
rescuing
my
you with the
steps.
thought right now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a terrible
Oh,
friend I am.
I came back. Okay, I have it.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
fuck.
it is.
Okay, so it's the idea of if you've had negative experiences with people in the past,
Yes,
you're going to
yes.
have a hypersensitivity in
To
your
this.
current present
Yes.
in certain areas. So say dad always flaked out on you and never came to your fucking baseball game. You're going to have a hypersensitivity to that today. And it's important to recognize the story and the connections and to be aware that, oh, I'm feeling really upset at like so-and-so for canceling our lunch. But what I'm really mad about is dad. You know, what I'm really angry about is the story that I'm carrying along with me. And so actually this work and becoming aware of like, where am I anticipating harm can be could be a bit of a roadmap to trace back to initial stories that like need some healing.
This is so
you know?
important. And then sharing it with your partner. Ben has one for his dad is like gets like super like tunnel vision when he's like on his computer and working. And Ben has like memories of being like dad, and his dad just like not even hearing him.
Wow.
And I do that too. I'll be like on my phone working or on my computer working, and he'll ask me a question and I won't hear him. And Ben like loses his mind. He's like, can you please acknowledge me right now? And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm literally have like tunnel vision and just like don't hear the world around me. But now that I know it's his thing, I try because
it's,
you know,
more
like
like
I was
a
like,
practice for you.
I asked, I was like, where does this come from? Because it's like an area that's like he's like hypersensitive.
Yeah.
And so I was like, where does this come from? And he was like, you know what? I know exactly where it comes from. And he like told me that. And I was like, oh man, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to work on this because I know for him, it's like a way of loving him to know that that's something that's like really harmful to like little Ben.
Yes.
And working to like, I don't know, heal that, I guess, in some way.
Yeah.
Through like, and also, but I've like given him total permission to be like, if I'm doing it, just be like, acknowledge me. And I know I can't get upset when that happens.
Right.
I mean,
you got a code.
I guess I could, but like, I've chosen to not get upset and like let him have, like a code to use when it's happening because it's like it's so painful for him to feel like ignored in that way. And quite frankly, like it bothers me. Like, it's understandable. It's not but it's like, it's just nice to have that understanding and that knowledge. And so I love that you're talking about this because it's so important to like look back at your life and figure out like where do these things come from and your sensitivities, you know, because we have triggers, but also like the next lower level is just like a sensitivity to a particular behavior. One of mine is when people seem uninterested, when my partners seem uninterested in hanging out with my family, because I was with a guy who would literally, when we would go visit we lived with his family. When we go visit my family, he'd be like, I'm going like fishing and be gone for like 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
I was just like not spend time with my family.
Oh, wow.
And so that's one for me. So if we're like with my
one.
family and like Ben wants to take a nap or like not be with them for every fucking possible second, I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
I lose my mind.
And this is such a good opportunity. I love how you're painting this because it's such a good opportunity for both one partner to be operating out, like you said, out of love and sensitivity for like the pain that the other partner went through. And then the other partner gets an opportunity to kind of heal a little bit because it's almost like reprogramming because you get to be like, this person that I'm with is not that other person. This is a different situation. Yeah.
And him knowing that about me, he literally
Mhm.
says that to me. He'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take a nap because I'm tired. It's not because I don't want to hang out with your family. Like,
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
I'm like, okay, thank you.
That's
But it's like,
so
he knows
good.
where it comes from. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good one to figure out because it can be small things. Like both of those aren't like massive traumas or anything. It's just like little
Right.
things that create sensitivities, which make it
Yeah.
harder for me or Ben to give each other the benefit of the doubt. But once you understand
Mhm.
why that is, you can like help each other heal. Huh,
Yes.
it's good.
Oh, that's so good. I love
It's
it.
so good.
There
Love
it
it.
is. Yeah,
So, you know.
this is like another one of like, because we love this concept of like people are mirrors. They like
Mm-hmm.
reflect back like your shit to you. And this is such a great area that this can happen, where you can react, notice that you're reacting with uh I'm expecting harm. I'm not able to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm having a big reaction to this, even though I think it's associated with something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an opportunity for growth when you allow
Mm-hmm.
yourself to get really curious,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the word is sonder. I don't know why I thought it was like,
I liked your
uh,
Gutenfreud
I don't know why I
better.
thought it was German,
Can you
but
spell
it's
it?
Sonder. I just love this. Is
Sonder.
so classic Ben, where I'm like,
Classic
I'm
Ben.
having this like big thought, and he's
And
like,
he
oh,
knows the Latin
Sonder.
word for it or whatever. Yeah. I love it.
The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, in which you might appear only once as an extra sipping coffee in the background.
Oh, what the fuck? I have chills.
I was
Wow.
like, did that tickle your Enneagram 4 or did that
It
tickle your
did.
Enneagram 4?
Yeah. Ooh.
Isn't that such a good word?
It's beautiful. Sonder. So how do you
Yeah.
use it in a sentence? I had a sonder. I was walking down the street and I saundered. We'll have to
I
figure that
actually
out.
don't know.
I experienced
Uh,
sonder.
it's a feeling. It's a profound feeling.
Okay. I felt sonder.
I
Interesting.
don't know that it's like, how do you sonder sentence? What? I was hoping a little rubatosis would balance the sonder.
Balance the sonder. What is
How?
rubatosis? I don't understand anything.
I know. It's Danish.
Danish. The Danes have amazing words for things, like really beautiful, sentimental, like deep fucking things. I love that.
I don't know how to use it in a sentence.
Okay, well, we'll start
gonna
using it incorrectly in sentences. I just had a big sonder.
She experienced Sonder sitting amidst the ladies in a local
Experience
something
sonder.
coffee shop,
Okay,
watching
I
them
love
busy
that.
on their devices. She experienced Sonder.
I love that so much.
It can be used as a replacement for the word realization.
Okay. Now I have.
There we go. We got there.
You
we
did
got
it.
there in
Awesome. We're there.
The end.
Oh, I love
I
that.
love that word. Isn't it
Me
such a
too.
cool word?
It's beautiful. Yes.
I love words that are like complex moments that we all kind of experience. There's a French word, and I'm not going to remember it, for the feeling that you get a few like moments after you've had a conversation with someone where you realize what you wish you should have said.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I
there's
know
like a
that
French word for that.
There's a French
like,
word for that.
yes.
I know, and I
like
think it's Danish.
There's
like all sorts of
like we all know that feeling so well where you're just like,
right.
I should have said this.
For it. Yeah. There's also one for like the feeling after it rains. There's a word for that. Yeah. And there's
and it's Danish.
I think it's Danish. Yeah.
I love
like
words.
we all became a lot more aware of the what was the one, the
Siggenfreud?
No, Siggenfreud.
Who knows what I'm saying? What if I'm saying something like really inappropriate,
really like offensive? You probably are. But there's the one, the coziness that comes like in winter, the coziness that you feel in winter. There's like a word for that. Ugh. Anyway,
that was a nice little tangent.
I feel like
So in conclusion, just stop being a crazy person and give people the benefit of the doubt.
There you go. Done. And sonder
done
more.
And done. No, I'm totally joking. It's I literally like don't do it on a daily basis like with my partner. So I don't know what to tell you. It's a fucking practice.
It's a practice. It's a conscious practice because it goes against your instincts. It does. It like goes against your instincts, and you're having to use your like conscious mind to battle instincts and to make decisions about how you want to experience your life. And when you move through decisions. And when you move through the world believing that people aren't intending you harm, you make so much more room for like enjoying your life and having pleasure that would otherwise been taken up with like paranoia and fear and getting your feelings hurt. Yeah,
that's so true. That was a good one.
This was a good one. Yeah, I like that. And we learned words. I love you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Yeah.
Thanks. Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.